Welcome to Scone Baking Beyond. Hi, I'm Kathy, and I enjoy making scones, muffins, cookies, and all sorts of delicious baked goodies. My husband loves root beer floats. So a few years ago, for his birthday, I made him root beer float cupcakes. They were a big hit. So today, I'm going to share with you my recipe for root beer float cupcakes. They have a wonderful root beer flavor. Then I topped them with a delicious vanilla ice cream buttercream frosting. And then on top of that, I've added a root beer drizzle just to add a little bit more root beer flavor to these wonderful cupcakes. If you love root beer floats, you're going to love my root beer float cupcakes. So let's bake. So the first thing you want to do is take a 16-ounce bottle of your favorite root beer. We're going to pour this into our small pot, turn it on medium heat, and reduce it down to 3/4 of a cup plus 2 tablespoons. The 3/4 of a cup is for the batter, and the 2 tablespoons is for the drizzle. Put this in my pot. Turn the heat on medium. We're going to just let this simmer for about 25-30 minutes. In about 25 minutes, you want to check it by pouring it into a measuring cup, see how you're doing. And then if you don't have quite the 3/4 of a cup and 2 tablespoons, pour it back until you do. Now that our root beer has been reduced and it's cooling, it's time to get our dry ingredients together. So I have here 1 cup of all-purpose flour. I have 1/2 cup of whole wheat pastry flour. I have 1½ teaspoons of baking powder and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And we're just going to whisk these together until combined. And then we're going to set this aside. So now it's time to get our butter and sugar creaming together. So I have 1/2 cup of room temperature butter. There we go, put that in the mixer. And I have 1 cup of sugar. We're going to set this on medium speed for about 3 minutes and let it cream together. Okay, it's been 3 minutes. It's nice, light, and fluffy. So now it's time to add the eggs. We're going to put this on low speed and add our eggs one at a time. Okay, our eggs are totally mixed in, so now it's time to add a little more root beer flavor. So I'm adding 1 teaspoon of root beer concentrate. I realized when I reduced down the root beer, it gave it a little bit of root beer flavor, but not quite enough. So using root beer concentrate gives it just the right amount of root beer flavor. So this is 1 teaspoon of root beer concentrate. It's not root beer extract, it's root beer concentrate. So put this on low speed until it's totally combined. Now that root beer extract has been combined, and this smells wonderful right now, we're going to add our dry ingredients and that root beer pop that we reduced down. This is the 3/4 cups of that root beer pop that we reduced down. And remember, I did set aside 2 other tablespoons, and that's for the drizzle. We're going to put in half the flour mixture, and we're going to put this on low speed until it's just combined. It's just combined, so now we're going to put in half of our root beer pop reduction. Again, we're going to put this on low speed until it's just combined. Okay, we're going to scrape down the sides. And now we're going to add the rest of the flour mixture. put this on low speed until it's just combined. That's just combined, so now we'll add the rest of our root beer pop reduction. We're going to put this on low speed until it's just combined. Okay, it's just combined and it smells wonderful. So we're going to take this out. Okay, so now we're going to finish mixing this by hand because I don't want to over mix the batter at this point. So I'm just going to go through and make sure everything is all well mixed up and everything is off the bottom. There we go, our batter's all mixed up. So now it's time to fill our cupcake. So I have here my cupcake pan and I've lined it with these really cute little cupcake liners. And I have a number 12 scooper because I like using a scooper when I fill my cupcake. I'm going to fill these 2/3 full. And the last one. There we are. Oh, these are going to taste so good. I preheated my oven to 350 degrees and we're going to bake these for 18 to 22 minutes. Okay, it's been 21 minutes. Our muffins are done. How you check for doneness is you put the toothpick in. If it comes out clean, then it's done. The other way is if you have an instant read thermometer, they should read about 205 degrees. We're going to let these sit here for 5 minutes and then we'll take them out of the pan. While our cupcakes are cooling, it's time to get our vanilla ice cream, buttercream frosting together. I have here 10 tablespoons of unsalted butter and it's at room temperature. We're going to beat this for 5 minutes on medium speed until it's nice and light and fluffy. Okay, it's been 5 minutes and our butter is nice and light and fluffy. That looks really good. So now we're going to add 12 ounces of sifted powdered sugar. I'm only going to put in half at a time and then I'm going to beat it for 5 minutes at medium speed. But be sure to start at low speed before you get to medium speed, because otherwise you'll have powdered sugar everywhere. A little bit more. There we go. That's about half. We'll start this on low speed until it gets incorporated. Then we'll put on medium speed and beat it for 5 minutes. Okay, it's been 5 minutes. It's time to add the rest of our powdered sugar. There we go. Again, we're going to start this on low speed to make sure all that powdered sugar gets combined, and then we're going to bring it up to medium speed and mix it again for 5 minutes until it's really light and fluffy. Okay, it's been 5 minutes. Our frosting is nice, light and fluffy, but it's a little too thick for spreading on. And again, remember, this is vanilla ice cream buttercream frosting. I have here 1/3 cup of vanilla ice cream that I melted. I just set it out at room temperature. And you want to make sure you get this melted because if it's still frozen, it won't mix right in your buttercream. And to that, I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract just to bump up the vanilla flavor. There you go. I whisk that together. Now I'm going to add about half of this to our buttercream. I'm going to check out the consistency, and if it needs a little bit more, we'll add a little bit more. We may not use all of this. Oh, whisk overboard. We're going to put this on medium speed until it's light and fluffy and give it about 5 more minutes. Okay, it's been 5 minutes and let me show you what it looks like because it's really nice, light and fluffy. Look at that. And it has a nice spreading consistency, nice piping consistency. So we're going to get this off this beater here. And we're going to put this into, let me just put that aside for right now. We're going to put this into a 16-inch piping bag. And I fitted it with a number 1M piping tip because it has this wonderful 6-star pattern to it. It's about a 1/2 inch opening, and it's got a wonderful 6-star tip to it, and that'll make a really pretty frosting on top of our cupcakes. So I'm going to get this filled up, and then we'll set this aside. Now that our buttercream is finished over here, waiting to get piped on those cupcakes, it's time to get that drizzle going. So I have here 1 cup of sifted powdered sugar, and that root beer pop that we reduced down, this is the 2 tablespoons, and now we're going to add this to our powdered sugar. And I'm going to add, just to give it a little bit more root beer flavor, I'm going to add just 1/4 teaspoon of root beer concentrate. And that just gives it that little bumped up flavor of root beer. When you open up the little bottle, oh my goodness, it smells so wonderful. So we're just going to whisk this together until it's combined. Oh, that's going to be a wonderful drizzle. It'll give it a little bit more root beer flavor, but also on top of a root beer float, when the root beer gets all foamy on top of that ice cream, it'll give it that little bit of foamy look. I have here a snack size Ziploc bag. I'm going to open it up and just take the sides back a little bit and open it up. And we're going to add our drizzle into our little bag here. And we're going to use this bag as a little piping bag. And you're going to have more than what you need for our cupcakes. So what you can do is add this on top of ice cream later and make a wonderful drizzle on top of ice cream. Get a little root beer flavoring on top of your ice cream. Set that aside. We'll cut the hole in there in just a minute. So put all this aside. So here's our cupcakes. They're totally cooled, and now it's time to give them some frosting, a little drizzle, and just to make them look even more like root beer floats, I have here some little straws that I cut, some cute little straws, and just let everybody know what they're going to be eating. I'm going to put the little root beer barrel candies on top. For our vanilla ice cream buttercream, we're going to squeeze it, go around the edges, and come up just like a vanilla ice cream soft serve cone. And now the last one. Just make it look like a soft serve ice cream cone. There we are. So now we're going to cut a corner off. And now we're going to just drizzle this on, and it can be sloppily drizzled on there. Going to add a little bit more root beer flavor to our cupcakes. Oh, that looks so good. And I have some left over, and I'm just going to save this and put on some ice cream later. Oh, that's going to be so good. Just to make these cupcakes a little bit more festive, I'm going to add these little cute little root beer barrel candies. I love these root beer barrel candies when I was growing up. I would go off to camp, and they always had a camp store, and they always had root beer barrel candies there. And I think I spent all my camp money on root beer barrel candies. And of course, if you're going to have a root beer float, you're going to need a straw. So I'm just going to put a little straw in there and just put it down inside. How festive is that? Those look so good. Even I love root beer floats. A little root beer float cupcake. There's root beer in that cupcake, vanilla ice cream buttercream on top, a little drizzle just like you would see on your root beer float. Root beer candy, and of course a little straw just to make it festive and fun. Put this aside. Well, you know we have to try one. Just make sure they taste okay. But I know they're going to taste really good because you can smell the root beer as I'm making it. You can smell the root beer as they're baking. So I'm going to take off the liner there. And now it's time to take a bite Trying not to get it all over myself. I probably have it all over my face. But that cupcake inside has just a wonderful flavor of root beer. It's not too strong, not too light. That vanilla ice cream, buttercream on top, nice light and fluffy. It tastes like, of course, vanilla ice cream. And then you get that drizzle. And later, I'm going to have that piece of candy because I love root beer barrel candies. For the complete recipe, please go to my website, sconebaking.com. There is a link below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And please subscribe for future videos. I hope this inspires you to bake. Thank you for watching.